Hey everyone, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, and I want to welcome you to episode 38 of Lengthening Live, where the patients get to interview the guests. And today we are joined by a very special guest. We're joined by Matthew, a leg length discrepancy patient. What's up, Matthew? How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very good.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know on the channel I tend to really talk a lot about stature lengthening, but this hits home because I had a leg length discrepancy. So I think it's really important that we interview you, talk about your story, your experience, because there's a lot of patients with a leg length discrepancy out there. So you ready to get to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool, man. So we may have one other guest join us a little later, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I have a few questions for you to kind of start it all off. And the first one, I want to kind of set some context. So a leg length discrepancy is basically when you have one leg that's shorter than the other one. And it can be due to either a congenital reason, meaning from birth, you had it from, you were born, and then traumatic, meaning that you had it because of an accident. So Matthew, can you tell us about your leg length discrepancy? How did it happen? Was it from birth or was it from an accident?
Yeah, so great question. I think I started when I think it was from birth. So I actually was born with like spina
Okay.
bifida, right? That's a condition that basically all I know is your spinal cord is like attached to your pelvis and it's stuck
Yeah.
there. And basically the nerves and the spinal cord and just some things all over your body can be affected. So basically, what happened was, as I grew, there was a leg discrepancy that continuously got bigger.
Okay.
So I think it was very small when I was like 6 or 7 years old, but as I got older and when I hit puberty, of course, the difference
I see.
drastically
Gotcha.
increased.
And what was I guess, the leg length discrepancy at the very end? Like, what was your ending result?
Yeah, so actually, I'm not 100% sure because interesting fact. Literally in a week, the surgeon's going to make the final decision to see if we have to pull back a little bit,
Interesting.
pull back from the length because I think they might have lengthened too long. So originally thought it was about 1 inch. So that's not horrific, but it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And did the
But
surgeon Yeah, go
as
ahead.
time went on,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it was like about an inch, but it turned out to be a little more than an inch. If I'm gonna be very honest, it was probably about an inch and a half to an
Inch
inch
and a half.
and three quarters.
That's right around where I had mine, about 4 centimeters. Yeah. And did the surgeon
Yeah.
use something called a multiplier method to kind of figure out how much the discrepancy would be when you're finished growing?
No, I don't think they even told. Maybe they did. I probably didn't pay attention. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. And just for context here, let's talk about your age because you're one of the younger patients that we've had on here from either, limb lengthening in general or just that limb length discrepancy. How old are you, Matthew?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
No, no, I mean, how old are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I am 16 now.
16. So you're a young guy. So the funny thing is that a lot of times, do you know if you're done growing yet?
Yeah, so they took the growth plates, took pictures of my growth plates to make sure I was done right by the knee, by the end of the tibia,
Hmm.
and the doctor said, yeah, I'm fully grown, basically.
Gotcha. They check the epicondyle. Okay, gotcha. So we actually have, some people in the chat. Yeah, somebody who had a leg length discrepancy from the Facebook group. I have a feeling I know who that is. But anyway, so cool. I'm gonna keep going on with the interview here. What type of pain and problems did you have with your leg length discrepancy? An inch and a half is a lot. People don't realize that, especially for young guys who are, very active. They're in sports, whatnot. How did it bother you?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So I wouldn't say so much pain, but just there were a lot of things that I was limited in. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So first things first, the most basic one I would say is like when I used to walk around, like I used to have like they call it like a limp. So I couldn't walk like normal. Like people would think like I don't know, I sprained my ankle or my knee, I had a knee problem or something, or I had a foot problem. And yeah, and honestly, it was kind of annoying explaining, but that's basically the biggest thing I would say is I just simply couldn't walk normally. And on top of that, so I've actually followed you up and I've noticed that you're really into, I don't know if you're still doing this, but I know you're into bodybuilding a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I've had my fair share of just, first of all, my right calf is another inch and a half bigger,
yep,
like in circumference, so
100%.
that's a difference. And it might not sound like a big difference, but if I were to show you guys, it would be like hard. Well, now it's a little better, but it was about an inch and a half of difference. And on
Yep,
top of that, just I feel like I wasn't as strong as I could have been.
100.
Not because I had, I was unilateral. My force wasn't equally distributed. So, for example, like I noticed when I tried to like whatever do a certain exercise, like my knee would cave in
Yeah,
no matter how hard I tried because of the discrepancy.
100%. You are.
So I had that. Yeah, so every time I tried doing squats, deadlifts, whatever, no matter how like correct I tried to make my form, it was still there. Like there was nothing you could do about because it was an anatomical issue, not like a form or a muscle problem.
Spoken like a true champion, man. Like you're bringing back so many memories for me, Matthew, and it's almost painful memories because I remember exactly what you're going through. Squats, deadlifts, lunge, everything that you did bilaterally was affected. I mean, one leg being taller, you would get that kind of that knock knee effect where like you would squat, one leg would
Yeah,
cave, the other one would kind of have a little bit of a bow leg varus effect, and it was just so painful and annoying because it's like you're trying to build this symmetrical physique or have some sort of like
right.
good physique, and then you can't do it because of the discrepancy. So we are in the same boat there. Very, very cool. Now I want to ask you about, did you manage your discrepancy with shoe lifts or shoe builds, like when they build up the bottom of the sole? I did this
Yeah.
after a long time. I found out about it. Did you do that?
Yeah, so thank God, since I regularly visited an orthopedic surgeon, because I also have scoliosis, which I'll get to very soon.
Yeah.
I regularly visited him. They also were able to take x-rays of the bone to see the difference. And every like year or so, they would prescribe me new shoe lifts. So my most recent shoe lift, it was probably like maybe 3/4 of an inch higher than
Mhm.
the right one. So that helped. I'm not denying that at all, but it wasn't good enough. And it was still present because I think it was because it was only the back. So I was basically walking like on high heels on that leg, and the right leg was fine. So it was kind of weird because the back was lifted, but the front part was flat.
Mhm.
So it was almost like walking high heel. That's what I would like to call it on my left side. And my right one was fine, of course. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes, I did the same thing. Then I did transfer from the shoe insole, like what you're talking about, to the shoe build with, like, I actually found a shoemaker. There's two really good companies, and I'll mention them. I'll actually probably post their links below the video later. But um, basically, they'll take the shoe and they'll build up the sole so you don't have that effect. It's still like a normal shoe and your leg is lifted. That helps a lot. But I mean, you're so young, an inch and a half is a lot. Why not get limb lengthening done? So tell us about how you came across limb lengthening, the surgery that can fix your problem forever. How did you find out about it?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it was three. So I could have either had the external fixator for my tibia. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure the specific name, but something like that,
Yeah.
which he didn't recommend because of the risk for infection and just it's just a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
So we already threw that out of the window. So it was really two things. And this was when I was like 14, 15, maybe like 14 and a half. It was either they put something in my right knee to stop my growth, which they had to do almost immediately because but then I would only be the shorter side, and really didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get the full, get as tall as possible. So basically, we all agreed that the stride nail was the best option.
Yeah, gotcha. So you did.
So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so the surgeon in my family, and we obviously discussed it. We thought about it, and it was like this is hands down the best option for me. and it's got the lowest risk for problems. It's very convenient in comparison to the other options available, and it just seemed like the right option. And I just said, you know what, let's do this.
You, man, it's like I'm walking down memory lane because I did the same thing. My surgeon said, "Hey, look, this was 2011, 2012, and it's like the internal nail had just come out. It was going to be external fixator, but I had the option for the precise nail, and you had stride nail. So that's incredible. So you got this done with a stride nail. When was this? When was your surgery?
So my surgery was March 16th, so that's literally 2.5 months ago.
Okay.
And yeah, March 16th.
Gotcha. So you didn't have the actual stride. You had the precise nail. Precise.
The stride, the one with the company. It's the nails with the screws, the internal nail and the screws. I
Yeah,
think it's
but yeah, they had the stride, but I think it got recalled. But I think you couldn't put your foot on the ground, could you?
no. In the beginning, no.
Okay, then that's a precise nail. Their company Nuvasive did make the stride, but they had to recall it. So I think you were
Yeah,
mixing them up.
Nuvasive. That's the name.
Nuvasive.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, so you had the same nail as like most patients here that I had also. I had the version 1, but very cool, man. So you had that. You got the surgery done on March 16th, just going on almost 3 months now. Now, was all your discrepancy in just the tibia, or was it some in the femur too? Because you had a little bit of congenital deformity.
Yeah, so it was only from like I think the knee down, so it was only the tibia
Okay,
because he didn't mention anything about the femur, and when we looked at the X-rays, they looked pretty darn parallel, so I'm pretty sure it was the tibia.
just the tibia, just like me. Was it the left
Yeah,
or the right?
it was the left tibia.
Man, okay, your name is Victor now. So
Yeah,
that's
call me
cool.
Victor 2.0.
Yeah, Victor 2.0, Cyborg 2.0.
Yeah,
Right here.
yeah.
That's cool, man. All right. Now, I wanted to kind of ask about the surgery itself. Take us through the process because now you know that your surgery's coming up. Let's say it's March 10th. It's a week out from your surgery. What's going
Right.
through your head? Have you ever been through a surgery before? This is a big orthopedic surgery. They're going to break your leg, put some metal device in there, screw it in, and you're going to be like that for a year. What's going through your head?
Yeah, so honestly, I thought this is my biggest mistake. I thought this was going to be a walk in the park. I thought this was just going to be maybe 2 months out, maybe three max, and I'd be completely fine.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong.
It was a lot
So
more involved.
I thought it was just going to be like a procedure, and it was going to be like those typical like a knee replacement surgery, and I'd be fine because I'm young and whatever, and I'd be fine. But I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong.
Yeah, it took you
If only
for.
I knew then what I knew now.
I know, right? In hindsight, yeah, that's the same thing that kind
Yeah.
of went through my head. I had a little bit more experience with it because I've been through a few leg surgeries before that, but
Oh,
it's
good,
definitely
good.
limb lengthening. It's not easy, even if it's just one leg. People don't realize that. In fact, for discrepancy folk, it's a lot different because you have to now adapt to a leg that's even, on that side. But let's talk a little bit more about the surgery itself. So, what was you had the surgery day? You wake up. Were you in a lot of pain?
Oh my goodness. It's funny because the once I woke up, I was on a lot of drug pain medications. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I just knew I still felt uncomfortable. I was definitely not in a right frame of mind at all.
Right.
And then I think a couple hours later, I started complaining about pain. So they gave me an oxycodone pill,
Hmm.
and I took only one of those. And then after that, it was just Tylenol after that. But I will tell you from after, it's the pain slowly increased.
Yeah.
And I remember the day after when I woke up, the day after the surgery, when I was discharged from the hospital,
Yeah.
when I woke up, I was in so much pain. I thought I was going to pass out and die. Like,
Yeah.
when I say, like, I love your description of this pain of the surgery when you say it's like a horrible migraine in that area that doesn't go away and it's like 100 times worse. That's
Yeah.
literally what it was like. And the entire body, my heart rate was racing. I was like, and I'm proud of myself in some respects because I didn't take the oxycodone after that.
Yeah.
I kind of like pushed through. Probably would have been better if I did, but I can't take that back now. And, I'm kind of proud of myself that I was able to do that. I wasn't that guy that took a ton of pain, but I will tell you, this is not, and I'm not trying to brag, but I think I have a decent pain tolerance
Yeah.
from working out and knowing what it's like with the lactic acid and just, pushing through when you want to just drop the weight and call it a day. So I know what that's like, but this is just, it's like a whole different animal. It was like a whole shock. My entire body was like my central nervous system, everything. It was in a crazy place, and I remember just that morning I was just like half alive. But then all of a sudden, by some, I don't know, some special act, I just felt better almost immediately after I took the Tylenol. And it came up and down. Don't get me wrong, it was very painful getting up after a while, sitting down. It was very painful, like you said. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It
Yeah.
was really that bad. It wasn't like a 5 out of 10, a little discomfort. It was literally a 9 out of 10.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't a walk in the park. But after that, I think a lot of this plays into the fact that I'm younger, so I
Mhm.
got over the pain much quicker. So I'm not trying to make you guys feel bad, but if you're like older, don't use me as a comparison because I just had to, I just got, I'm lucky and very fortunate to have this surgery so young.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was 50 years old, this would have been 10 times more of like a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely be a lot harder when you're older. And age, definitely, your recovery abilities are probably way more in tune with everything. So I want to ask you about first of all, kudos, be able to go through the pain like that at such a young age. But I think working out definitely does help. It does give you that grit to be able to push through the pain and tolerate it a lot better because there's people who just are popping pain pills heavily and not that they don't need to do that, but I think that, hey, look, that's awesome that you did that. So Matthew, I want to ask you about, you're starting to do lengthening with the ERC on your
Yeah,
tibia.
that's the
Yeah.
name. Yep.
Yep. The ERC. Yep. And as the days pass and you see your leg get longer, what's going through your head? Is this like all those years that you had to suffer with that discrepancy? Is it slowly fading away and being erased because you're seeing this little device change your physical structure right in front of your eyes? What's happening?
Yeah, so I'll tell you just how it was. So for the first 2 weeks, because after a week, like you said, there's a massive drop off in pain, and
Yeah.
because I really didn't feel that much. Every once in a while, I felt some discomfort, and it came and it went, but it wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is so painful. I need medication. And after like I think day 6, or day 7, I was completely off Tylenol.
Okay.
So I was very fortunate to not have the lasting pain because I probably would have not made it if I'm being
Sure.
very honest. So what happened was the first 2 weeks, really honestly, it was just lengthening, doing all that, and then after week 2, this is where it started to get slowly and slowly more challenging. So
Yeah.
week 2, which is basically 14 millimeters. So in my mind, because based on what he told me beginning an inch, that's 25 centimeters. I'm like, yo, I'm already halfway done. Let's go. This can't be that bad, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, the doctor asked me to move my foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
To see how mobile I was. And he said, it's starting to get tight. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So he told me I have to start stretching. Now this is another mistake that I made. Prior to the surgery, I did nothing. I
Yeah.
didn't stretch. I didn't do anything, and this is literally why I could not have made the same amount. Why this was a lot more hard. This was a lot harder than it should have been
Okay.
because I didn't stretch before. So after week 2, the surgeon told me I have to start stretching. So I started doing like 20 minutes a day,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Not knowing how serious I should take this. I thought this is okay, 20 minutes. I thought I was doing a lot because to a person that doesn't have this surgery, right, 20 minutes of stretching is a lot,
It is.
especially for the same muscle. That's like, like how many people, when you see, they say 3 sets of 30 seconds. I mean, that's like 2 minutes. But for me, I took 20 minutes and I thought I was going above and beyond what I should be doing because that's kind of what I thought. And then after a while, I know you're laughing. And then after a while, he kept saying I have to aggressively stretch. And then it's funny because right after the surgery, fun fact, right after the surgery, I went right to you because I saw all the videos and the content that you were posting. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, this is amazing. Like, I did not know that someone, like, because I was trying to find, because the first thing I want to know is when is the pain going to stop? That's the
Right.
first thing I cared. So when I saw your videos about the pain, how painful it is, and I would watch those, they were almost like a positive affirmations in my mind where I kept hearing, you're going to hear a massive drop off after this and that and this and that. And I was like, oh gosh, let's go. So I kept listening. I just kept watching your videos. I kept watching your interviews with the surgeons. And then I remember seeing this one video where you were talking about the physical therapy.
Mm.
And when you were talking about the distraction period, and I remember, and as the weeks went on through my distraction, I slowly increased it. It was like 20 minutes, then I went to like 50 to an hour. Then I went to like a little over an hour. Then all of a sudden, I saw your video where you said the distraction period 2 to 4 hours, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, like, I was like, I thought I was doing enough, going further than I should have. Wasn't enough. Thought I was going enough, and now it's like 2 hours. And this is where I think I really screwed up. Because if I were to do the 2 hours after week two, I would have been completely more. I would have been 10 times more mobile than I am now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, once I saw 2 hours, and I really saw how my muscle was getting tired, I was like, this is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat down with myself and I said, listen, I can choose to keep doing what I'm doing, or I can, do what I know I should be doing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, just clicked in. I started doing 2 hours a day
Mm.
stretching. I would do. It was interesting because I started doing 2 minutes static stretches, then I would rest for 30 seconds. But then after that, I pulled it back because the physical therapist told me a minute is plentiful enough. So I would do a minute, rest 15 seconds, a minute. So I still had the same amount of total stretching time,
Yeah.
but just shorter where I held it. And honestly, I'm not sure if it even makes a difference or not, but all I know is it's helping, and it's definitely helping.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you brought that up because no matter what people think, it's like when you get lengthening done in the tibia, it gets tighter a lot quicker because that's a smaller bone. And
Yeah,
what you're talking about, that ankle, that dorsiflexion, that if you can't move that leg, you're starting to get that ballerina foot. I got the same thing, Matthew. And
yeah,
stretching is so pertinent to be able to do because if you don't, you lose that range of motion, you're playing catch up at the end, and it can affect how long it takes you to get back to a normal walk, how much pain and tightness and stiffness you're going to have first thing in the morning. So you ramping
yeah,
up and sitting down with yourself and saying, hey, look, I need to kick this into high gear or else I'm going to have problems here. So you really did the right thing there. Same thing happened to me. So awesome, man. I'm so glad to hear that.
yeah. And
Very
it's
cool.
funny because where you and me relate, and I'm actually very proud that you were able to at least do some working out and stuff. I saw said you were doing some upper body work throughout the surgery, which is I congratulate for that. But for me personally,
Yeah.
I've said 2 hours a day of stretching is something I've never done.
Right.
This is definitely going to affect my body, my central nervous system, everything. I don't care what anyone says. 2 hours of
Yeah.
stretching is going to do something to you. So what I said, so simply, I just said, you know what? As much as I love working out, as much as I'd like to keep my physique where it's at, I've said, you know what? It's better to be a little less than where you could be in
Yeah.
walking than being still strong and whatever and
Yeah.
not walking at all. And I said to
Absolutely.
myself, I'm putting all my mental energy into this.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was a little hard because for a guy like me, I love working out so much because it's almost like a stress reliever. It's good for your brain, it's good for your body,
Mhm.
and it's like a lifestyle. It's not just something I do in the day. It's almost like a lifestyle. Like the diet, it makes you more conscious of what you are doing to your body, the foods you're eating, the calories, the fats, the proteins, the carbs,
Mhm.
all that crazy stuff that most people don't even give a second thought about. That stuff was always in the back of my head throughout the day because it was just that important to me because I just loved it. It was a passion. It wasn't like something I liked to do. It was a legit passion of mine.
Wow. Matthew, I am so impressed with you, man. For one, your take on this whole process, like you embraced it and you were willing to learn from it, but also the mindset you took, from it. Like you just like, became stronger, and you're like, hey, look, I need to mind my stretching, my nutrition. I still need to stay physically fit, but I don't need to push it so hard that I hurt myself. This is all what I'm talking about when you have that mental manifestation of, hey, look, I need to get through this process to get back into a good standing on the other side. So kudos to you, young sir. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna be very honest. Like, this is all like this definitely like taught me a lot about like just life in general.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
surgery, like I Wait, Victor, just out of out of mere curiosity, did you know any of the golden era bodybuilders that much or not so much?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I came up on, and I was like, I studied them and I tried to model them. Arnold was one of the biggest inspirations of my,
Yeah,
yeah,
Arnold. Yeah, and I remember I'd say the one that actually had the biggest effect on who I was, like
yeah.
in terms of like mental grit and everything. You've heard of Tom Platz, right?
Tom Platz, the leg man, the leg master. Yes. Thigh master.
Yeah, and I remember I would just listen to his seminars like
Yeah.
before the surgery. Like when I was 14 years old, like who the heck does that, right?
Yeah.
And I was just listening to his seminars when he's talking. And as much as he goes into, the muscle building and the squats and everything, he still gives a lot of really high quality information about your attitude in life and everything. And
Absolutely.
that really affected me because if I didn't have just, you know, he definitely affected the way I thought and the way I perceived life because I'm basically before then I was pretty much a pessimist.
Yeah.
Like if
Okay.
I'm being honest, like if something slightly went wrong, I would think it would go totally wrong.
Okay.
And I think that was just whatever they call your defense mechanism. But I remember just hearing him and the stuff he would say about. I remember this one quote he said that if you think that life, he once said that life doesn't happen to you, life happens for you.
I love that.
And I remember hearing that and I was like, that's literally, if I could just for a quick second every day, just be able to grasp that, I could go so far.
Yeah.
Because when you're caught up, with the hardships in life, like the leg lengthening and everything, which is the hardest thing I've done in my life,
Yeah.
I'll be very honest, the hardest thing by far. You got to have some sort of a positive mindset that I feel like a lot of people think, like, you're not, I don't care who you are, you're not walking through the surgery like a stoic. That's impossible. You're not going to have a straight face and a smile the entire time. As pretty as I thought that was going to be and how that would sound,
Mhm.
it's impossible because of the pain and just the amount of stretching you have to do every day, and then just overall the entire surgery. You have to really put your mind like really. You just have to be at your top mental game, if that makes sense.
Man, you're so wise for your age. Like, I wish I had this type of insight when I was your age. I mean, it's incredible. Like listening to Tom Platz, uh, you're right. Like going through the surgery, it changes you. Like I before my surgery, I was very reserved and conservative with things I did, and like I said, the surgery put my life on full throttle. I was more outgoing afterwards, and hearing the same thing from you, it's just like we're relating on the same page. And I wish more limb lengthening patients, stature, cosmetic deformity, would take a lot of golden nuggets from you that you just dropped and apply that to their own process, because you will change the whole process for them if they can just kind of like embrace your mindset. We'll call it the Matthew mindset, or we'll call it the cyborg mindset. That's what it is, man. It's incredibly
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, man. Really, whatever. I'm just a really lucky person that I can even talk to you. I'm just
you
telling you the
are,
truth.
man. No, I'm lucky to be able to talk to you. That's awesome, Matthew. Oh man, I'm so impressed. Cool, man. So real quick, so you got a little tight in your ankle when you were lengthening. Did you have any other complications going through the process? Like, did you get nerve irritation? Did anything else happen?
Yeah, so I did have um a little nerve irritation in the middle of this, like the lengthening process when I was at like 25, 26 millimeters. I
Okay.
started feeling the irritation, but after a while, it just went away. Thank God, because I think it was because that's when I really picked up the stretching, and that's what really. And on top of that, yeah, that really helped. And thank God I didn't have any like. And I never developed like ballerina foot to the point where they would have to operate or where he was really concerned. He always just kept telling me, but I'm just very proud of myself because I could have never imagined myself doing this.
Yeah.
And back to what you were saying, so yeah, of course, there was definitely times like I wasn't able to weight bear, so that was of course like a problem because I'm just a naturally active guy and I love running around, doing crazy stuff, walking, just riding my bike, doing anything physical, whatever it is. And that was taken away from me.
Mm.
So I almost felt like, in a way, I almost felt like it kind of just took that away. So that was a little bit of a problem, but I was able to go through that because it wasn't the worst thing,
Hmm.
and I was still had a lot of great things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And I knew this was going to only be temporary, so I was like, great. And it was great because I actually, crazy story, I was so just interested on how soon I could walk that once he said I could start weight bearing, I used to slowly weight bear just by standing, right,
Hmm.
without
Hmm.
walking.
Yeah.
And then I would do weight shifting, and
Mhm.
then I would do marching steps supported. And then all of a sudden, after I got flexible enough, I started walking
Yeah.
better and better and better.
Yeah.
Now I can walk. Now I'm up to currently walking 15 minutes
Wow.
without the crutches, which is actually, and this is 2 weeks after the distraction period. So I'm very happy for where I'm at.
That's crazy
Yeah.
fast. I can't believe you've been
Well,
healed. I
but
mean, you are young, but that's
now,
incredibly fast.
yeah, because he wants me to weight bear more. Only 15 minutes. He doesn't want me to weight bear too much where it could. There's a problem with the with the rod and the screws that they could come loose or anything.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and I never considered my progress to be extremely fast. But the doctor thinks I'm gonna be walking full time in like 2 weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks. 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Let's take the middle line. 3 weeks. So by
That's
July
incredible.
4th, actually July 4th. That seems to be. He said that 2 weeks ago. So July 4th seems to be the day. And if they pull back, which I'm pretty sure they might do by a couple millimeters,
Yeah.
I think that's going to just speed the process of the consolidation up. So I am very lucky.
Yeah.
Like again, don't use me as an example. Don't feel discouraged because well, first of all, whatever it was, and just fun fact, and I credit this all from just working out and like because working out is very good for the bones, hardening and strengthening of the bones. So fun fact, the surgery took a lot more longer than normal. And
Yeah.
after the surgery, the surgeon told my mom, he said, your son has very, very, very tough, strong bones. He had a real hard time drilling it in. He said sometimes they can just drill it in like nothing and it goes right through, which isn't good. But
Yeah.
he said since my bones were so hard and just strong,
Yep.
he said he had no problem with the consolidation. And just from being mindful of my diet with the calcium, protein, and D3 intake that which I was on top on as well as I could have, because I used to drink a lot of milk and stuff, and just being on top of that,
Yeah.
that definitely I think helped. But I'm just so honestly so blessed. Like I can't be more happy now. Just thinking,
I
looking back, because sometimes you don't rehearse these things, and when you conversate them, it's like, wow.
Yeah, the hindsight, right? Exactly. You're like, man, I can't believe it. I can't believe you were walking. You beat me by 2 weeks because I think it took me 4 months from surgery to walking, and I was going at 1 millimeter per day. And she thought, hey, look, I'm a really fast person, but I think you beat me. Obviously, you were younger than I was when I got it done. Let me ask you, were you going at the 1 millimeter per day?
Yeah, exactly. 1 millimeter a day.
Yeah.
Some days I went. Unfortunately, some days I missed out, like where I do only two thirds of the measurement, so only 0.66. But
Okay.
at the same time, it was a third of a millimeter 3 times a day,
Yeah.
and it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. But yeah, it was interesting because, like you said, the lengthening when you lengthen it, it doesn't really hurt.
Yeah.
And after 3 weeks, I would say all the pain, unless I accidentally stepped on my left foot, which
Hmm.
only happened once, thank God.
Yeah.
All the pain really just came from just muscle soreness and discomfort.
Yeah.
But again, the more you stretch, the more I stretched, the easier and easier weight bearing and walking became.
That's incredible. Matthew, let me ask you, how heavy are you? Like, what's your body weight?
Oh, great question. So I am right now, currently, I am 134, 135.
Okay.
I started this surgery at 143, 144, so I lost about 10
10
pounds.
pounds. I think I lost about 10 or 12, maybe even 15 by the end of it all. Very cool. Very,
Yeah.
very cool, man. I think you should do some videos for the channel. I mean, you're so wise and you have you're well spoken and you got like this really good, advice that you just drop. I love it. I love it, man. This is incredible. A few more questions here, Matthew, and then we're going to kind of like answer some questions in the live chat.
Go
Um,
ahead.
So now that you're balanced out, you're finished your lengthening, right? And you're starting your weight bear, you're walking, you're doing all those gradual weight bearing exercises. And in the next 2 weeks, we expect you to be walking, full time without any assistance or anything.
Yeah,
I
three,
would say
4 weeks. Yep.
3 or 4 weeks. That's going to be incredible. By 4th of July, which is also the same date that I plan to start to scale my training for my injury. But anyway, what was it like to have balanced hips again, to not feel that limp or to feel that discrepancy that you had for all these years and say, oh my gosh, I'm fixed?
Yeah, it's a great. It's almost like how the you know, it's just like almost how is this happening?
Yeah.
Like because I'm walking around and I remember every time I was in public, especially when I was around kids my age, it was always in the back of my head, you
Mhm.
know. So it was like a poor mental image I had of myself, which I guess is normal because I
Yeah.
mean, who wouldn't notice it? Like, who wouldn't be observant about it? You might not say something, but you create a mental picture of that in your mind, and it's just
Right.
like it wasn't a it just wasn't a way I want to be looked at as. I think that's normal. Almost like I know a lot of people in this chat and everything is they want to get surgery because they might be a little insecure about their height, which is normal because honestly, I had that up
Mhm.
until this surgery.
Okay.
So beginning of the surgery, I was about 5'6.5" without shoes because
Yeah.
that was my short leg.
Yeah.
Now I'm about 5'8". I'm about
Yeah.
5'8". So an inch and a half of height, and honestly, that's obviously not terrible but I'm just happy again. Like I'm just a very fortunate person.
Yeah.
And what was your question again? I'm sorry.
I don't even want to ask the question. I love you just talking. I just love to let you talk. You're embracing. I'm embracing this. This is incredible. I forgot my question. No, it was about your having your discrepancy disappear. You're pretty much saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels so like it just feels like good. And it's funny because the reason why I think I'm not like even now because I'm actually limping on the right side now. Before it was always
Yeah.
on the left. Like I would drop down to the left, drop down to the left. Now it's drop down to the right, drop down to the right. So I think they did overlap. But it's weird because my hips are level on the X-ray,
Okay.
but when I walk, I feel like I'm unbalanced. So the reason why he didn't pull back immediately is because he wants me to just feel it out. Feel it out. See if there's anything like if this is just because I haven't walked and felt like this, or if because I'm actually. And he wants me to get my knee extension as straight as possible because I remember like I'd say a month and a half ago, my knee extension was so poor.
Hmm.
But now, because I'm doing the towel stretching, the calf stretching, and doing it very aggressively and doing it as well as I can, 2 hours a day, it's starting to come back. And I can just see every day, like I feel like I can get it straighter and straighter. Not even that, just the feeling of the muscle when I touch it feels more loose, more limber after I stretch. Sometimes I'm a little sore, so I don't immediately walk after. But after like once I just get going, like after I take like 10, 15 steps, I can pretty much walk almost.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's the
I
thing.
have
The
to
muscle.
lose.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's all I have to say, really.
I'm gonna agree with you. I think that the reason why it feels like you're limping to your right is because you haven't walked in a long time. That's what I remember with my leg is like, why do I feel like the right leg is shorter now? It's just, you got to get used to it. In the next couple of weeks, when you start walking a lot more, you're going to realize, oh, this feels natural again. The muscles will kind of get pliable again. They were stiff. Everything will fall in place. I think that as long as your hips are level in the x-ray, you're good to go. Incredible, man. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, because they were like, yeah, I'm just like, it's crazy because, yeah, so it's just going to be another week that I have to feel it out, and hopefully I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to feel that way in a way, but at the same time, it's better to not feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's better to keep it where I am if that means, because the worst thing you want to have is a discrepancy again, because that's the one thing you're trying to avoid, like at all costs. That's the reason why you out like length discrepancy surgeons have this. Hence the name.
Yeah.
This it's a
That's why
surgery
you
to
did it
fix
in the
it.
first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man, and people don't realize. I think that a lot of people think leg length discrepancy is only physical, but you've just said it, and I've said it multiple times. Is that it's very mental. It's like it affects you because not only is your height affected because you're only as tall as your shortest leg, but
Yeah.
physical health and like your outlook on life is too. So when you get fixed, it's both. You get mental resolve, you get physical resolve. It's just amazing. Your life is on full throttle, and I can tell it, I can feel it, I can hear it in your voice, and I love it. I really do. This is an awesome interview. Incredible, Matthew. I want to ask you about your family supporters. During this lengthening process, how was it for them? Was it hard on them? Did it help you a lot? Like, did you get a lot of support through them? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, honestly, like my family just in general was pretty supportive. They weren't like they knew that this was a crazy surgery, and thank God I was able to talk to them a lot about this throughout the entire process. I talked to them every day about it, of course, but
Mhm.
it's wonderful. Like I really couldn't ask for a better support system. Had a lot of people, pray for me and stuff, so
That's
it's
awesome.
just a lot of good stuff. Like it couldn't
Absolutely.
be better.
Okay, gotcha. And you're based in New York, correct?
Yeah, New York. Yep.
Gotcha. Awesome. And you got it done in New York as well?
Yep, New York.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you want to mention who you got it done by? That's if you want to.
I'm sorry?
Do you want to mention your surgeon name?
Yeah, so his name is Terry Amaral.
Terry
That's his
Amaral.
name, Dr. Terry Amaral.
Was this in where in New York was this?
North Shore.
North Shore. What
North
hospital?
Shore,
Okay.
Cohen's
That's
Children's Hospital.
children. Okay, yeah, I actually knew there's a patient that got it done there as well. He was a little older as well. They're doing the
Oh,
lengthening.
wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. So,
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's awesome. I'm glad that you got it done really well there. Cool, Matthew. Well, we're gonna do one more question, then we're gonna go into the live chat and answer any questions that are there. Does that sound good?
sweet. Yep.
Cool. So, what advice or helpful tips can you share with others who are just like you and have a leg length discrepancy, whether they're younger, older, anything like that in between?
All right. So, the first thing I would say, the first thing, so let's just say you're considering it, it's in the back of your head. You have a leg length discrepancy to the point where you could get the surgery and it would make sense to get it. Like I'm talking over an inch or more. I would say the first thing is to well, you will know that it's going to help you. You're going to know that because the surgeon and everyone's going to tell you that. So we got that established. So I would say start stretching. So if it's the tibias, do just nothing crazy. Half do like 10 minutes a day of just calf stretching. That's totally doable. I know everyone in this chat could do 10 minutes a day. You have to wake up 10 minutes earlier, big deal. Like everyone here can do 10 minutes of stretching their calf, their shorter calf. And you probably don't have to stretch the hamstrings that much if you're a tibial lengthener because my hamstrings were never tight
Mhm.
because they weren't affected but the calves, the gastrocnemius specifically, will get very tight. The soleus, not so much, but the gastrocnemius will get extremely tight. So if you could start like even 3 months before, 10 minutes a day, you probably won't even have to stretch an hour
Mhm.
as long as you're loose and limber throughout the entire thing, if I'm being very honest. So that will save you an extra hour a day just by devoting 10 minutes a day. And the second thing I would advise anyone that's willing to get this is uh, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but
Say it.
know if you could actually take this. Are you a mentally strong person? Are you that person that gets emotional because I don't know, because your dog ended up whatever walking in the wrong side of the street or something, or if someone or some guy you get overly emotional if your steak isn't cooked the right way. Like be very honest because I'll be very honest. If you're not like a person who can handle, I'm not saying you have to be like a Navy SEAL, but if you're not a person, if you cry and complain about every little thing and you genuinely get stressed out, try your absolute best to manage that and try to find coping mechanisms
Mhm.
to work through that. Try to find something a meaning or a philosophy in your life that can make you that will make you want to keep going
Mhm.
like regardless of the pain because if you walk into this like I did where it's like this is gonna be a neat walk in the park, surgeon didn't really emphasize the stretching and the excessive amount of pain as much as he should have. It can't be that bad.
Mhm.
If you're gonna end up like me, like if you're gonna end up doing that like me, it's gonna hurt. And when I say it's gonna hurt, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna get to the point where well, I'm younger, so I don't know about for everyone, but for a person like me, it just it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna have to push through. And I think you have to be somewhat mentally strong to have this surgery. So
Man.
don't. So like if you wear your heart on your sleeve, you're an emotional person very easily, you have to really try to figure out ways to at least control that for the time being,
Mm,
because you're gonna it's gonna hurt. And I'm not gonna lie, there were times where I almost felt like just giving up, throwing in the towel, just stopping everything out of just pure frustration.
right.
Because that's really how intense the surgery is. This isn't like a walk. Like I said, this isn't like something where it's not going to be like a checkup appointment at the
Hmm.
doctor's. It's not going to be like maybe you had a broken arm or a broken knee or a broken leg. It's
Yeah.
not going to be like that at all. It's going to
No.
be like that and 10 times harder. So if you thought that was challenging, this is going to be that on absolute, like, more than steroids.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be like significantly worse and
Man,
harder. That's
that
really all I can offer. That's all I can offer.
that's all you need to offer, Matthew. That was like some of the best advice that's ever been mentioned on this channel ever. Like I'm gonna like clip that and like use that on like every intro of the video. Like you are so wise. I mean, that's incredible, man. We're gonna have you back for like more live streams. Seriously. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I'd be completely down,
you are
100%.
so cool, so level-headed, and so like ahead of your time. Literally, I mean, this is impressive. I think that every leg lengthening patient could take something from what you just said. Seriously, incredible, Matthew. That was
Yeah.
awesome. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go through the live chat and we're gonna answer any questions from people who have discrepancy or their kids have discrepancies, because I posted this in the Facebook group as well. So let's answer question number one from Benjamin Mendoza. He's asking, which segment did you lengthen, the tibia or the femur?
I got the tibia lengthened, the left tibia.
Left tibia. Okay, so this is a Facebook user. She's saying my son has. Okay, that's. Let's see. Let's see. How did you feel emotionally? I guess let's say as you achieved your length and your discrepancy was gone, were you just relieved?
Yeah, I was relieved because I know this is a thing of the past and will never happen again. I was very much relieved. Yes,
Yeah.
very much. Like a very deep inner satisfaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's the same thing that happened to me when my foot hit the ground. I actually teared up a little bit, and when I think back to it, it's like that was like a turning point in my life, and it just changed everything for me. So it's huge. Odi Garcia saying you are very brave.
Um,
She's
I just try my best. That's all I gotta answer. I'm not. I don't consider myself that brave, but if you consider me that, thank you very much.
yeah, you are, man.
That's
Seriously.
very nice. That's very nice, though. That's very nice.
All right, let's see here. She even said that boy is very mature for his age. Congratulations. Let's see.
Yeah.
Next question here. Cozy the Wet is saying, how old is Matthew?
Yeah. I'm 16. So
16. See, I think they're
yeah,
really kind of like
16.
you've dropped so much, amazing knowledge that they're like, this guy can't be 16 years old. Like,
Yeah.
what are you studying? Because like, be able to know all this anatomy, gastrocnemius and soleus, and knowing all these different muscles and this knowledge. What are you doing?
Right. Well, first of all, like I said, I'm really into fitness.
Okay.
So I'm very. I mean, Victor, you and me are probably on the same page with bodybuilding. You want
Yeah,
to be natural because drugs are the absolute worst thing you could absolutely ever do to your body.
absolutely.
No drugs, no matter how big you can get from them, is worth taking. I don't.
Right.
You're sick if you go down that route. That's my simple short answer. And I love that you're going natural because
Yeah.
that's the way to go. And I think that's how our bodies were made. Like you think like we were made to just pump drugs into our body to grow an extra inch on our arms? No, come on.
Yeah.
Like absolutely not. We were made to put our bodies in the most amount of physical labor achievable and to grow and to learn from it. That's really what I think it boils down to when it comes to bodybuilding and everything, or
Screen
just
clip
in
right
life in
there.
general.
I'm clipping that right there. It's like for anybody who
Thank you.
asks, like, should I take steroids? I'm gonna like clip Matthew talking about right there. That I love that. And a lot of the guys are asking, should they take HGH during lengthening to heal faster? I mean, look at what Matthew did. He just lengthened. And I know
Absolutely.
he's young, but the guy just lengthened, almost 4 centimeters pretty much in record time, and did everything and heals amazingly well. But what he did was he was in shape and worked out before, made those dense, strong bones, and consolidation wasn't a problem. I think that's what you guys need to pick up from what he just said. it's like you're worried about healing because of the fact, but you're sitting on the couch doing nothing now. Get up, start working out now, get those bones hard, dense, strong now. So when you do go through lengthening, things will be a lot easier for you then. I mean, multiple surgeons who have come on here said that. Dr. Robbins, I can go down the list. Get physically fit, get physically active now, and you can save yourself a lot of headache later.
Exactly, because, and especially like, I will say this again. I know this might hurt a lot of people's feelings, but the truth is the truth. Like, if you are overweight to the point where like getting off the couch, you have to really muscle it through. I'm sorry, you gotta lose weight.
Yeah.
Because that is gonna hurt. Because when you have one working leg, think about I'm not sure if you guys know what this is called. If you can't at least pull off an assisted pistol squat, you need to either get stronger or lose weight for this surgery, because it's going to be a pain getting up and down and up and down.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's going to really be hard. Like, you have to just get your thigh muscles, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes. You don't have to even get a gym. Just do squats in your living room. Watch a YouTube video, 20-minute leg workout. Do anything. Yeah. Mow the lawn more. Whatever it is, just find ways to like get stronger, to lose weight. And if it means putting down the fork before you want to, that's what you have to do. That's all it comes down to, really.
I love this guy. Like, what the heck? I'm so glad you came on this channel today. I'm serious.
Yeah,
you made my week. Screw that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're just so like-minded, and I think that's what really, ignites the fire in us. We're so like-minded. We know exactly. So a lot of this is like, okay, this guy's on a different like playing field than me, but cool. But to us, it's like, wow.
Yeah, like we're
like
on the
preaching to the choir, literally.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hearing this stuff. I'm like, man, this guy, he's like, it's clicking with things that I tell myself all the time. This is incredible, seriously. And I think that Matthew's saying it. It's like physical fitness, physical health go hand in hand with leg lengthening. Okay, that's why I had such a good result on both ends. And people think, oh, you just had a discrepancy. You have no idea what I went through and what I still go through. But same thing for Matthew. It's like a discrepancy can affect you. Can affect your joints both before and after the surgery. So he may even have a little joint issues here and there later on. Probably not, because he got it done so young. But the thing is that his mentality is so prepared for this process that even if something did come up, he would be able to, hurl over it, no problem. So that's what he's trying to get across to you, is that you got to be mentally strong and be prepared for the worst, So incredible. Oh man, I love this, Matthew. Odie Garcia says, it makes me cry to think that my son is going to feel so good after the surgery emotionally. Because her son has a discrepancy. So
that's great. I mean,
yeah.
that I can imagine just now that I'm in the position where I don't have the leg length discrepancy, and now it's a thing of the past. And now that I'm looking back, I can see exactly how well and how much of a relief it would be for your son, just to have that fixed, and he can walk out, do things with his friends, right? Go in public, work out, and do everything that he would love to do without having to have in the back of my mind, are people noticing on my hips? Can people notice that? And just all the little things that people that I feel like only like length discrepancy patients really understand.
Absolutely.
So yes, you're going to feel absolutely better. Absolutely. Hands down.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing you brought up, a really good point. A discrepancy is also aesthetically demoralizing in a way. It's like you got to realize that we had a limp. Even if we had a shoe lift, it's like you still know that you have this big shoe lift, or shoe build. Cosmetically, it's affecting you as well. I mean, I was like, man, when I took off my shoes, I'm like walking like, I don't know, Penguin from the Batman. It's just like, it really does affect things, So it's like when you get that fixed, and you start to walk with a normal walking gait or a better walking gait, it changes everything. So this is really going to be music to a lot of discrepancy patients' ears.
Yeah, it's gonna fix itself, and when you get to length, you're gonna be like, it's gonna be almost impossible to limp where you would normally limp. You would literally try, and you won't even be able to, because your body. You can't. It's just amazing. Like a lot of people, when they see us, right? It's simply a simple problem like this, right? You might think, oh, did you hurt yourself? Did you get into an accident? It's like, no, it's just something. And to them, it's like, what? Really, that bad? Wow. But that's just how it is.
Right.
Yeah. But it's gonna be the biggest. Yeah, it's going to be the biggest relief you'll ever feel.
Right.
Absolutely.
For sure. That's 100% true. And let's see here. Okay, here's the I'm here telling my son you have to stretch your foot. That's right. Like Matthew said, try to get him to do some stretching. Light stretching doesn't have to be a whole lot, just a little bit before his surgery, and he'll get
Yeah.
some pliability in that muscle.
Yeah,
Uh,
you don't have to like,
yeah.
yeah, that's perfect. Just do light stretching and it'll be a walk in the park
Yep.
compared to what I went through.
uh, Parth is asking. He's one of the subscribers here. He's asking, were you ever tempted to get bilateral lengthening for more height?
Wow. So, yeah, so that's a great question. So, knowing that this surgery a lot of people get for cosmetic reasons and
Mhm.
seeing that it was possible, it was always in the back of my mind, like, hey, this would be cool.
Yeah.
But knowing how difficult the surgery is, now I will say that I don't have a severe height dysphoria. It
Mhm.
was very mild. To me, it was just like, oh, it'd be cool if I was taller. It
Right.
wasn't like I tear up when I go to bed because of that. So thank God I didn't have it bad.
Mhm.
But I will say, now that I have the surgery done, unless you really, really, unless this is like on the back of your head, actually on top of your head, 24/7,
Yeah.
where it's the only thing in your mind, yeah, you can get it. But if you're a person, a normal human being, and if you're not significantly shorter than the rest of the people, which I feel like a lot of these people are, like being 5'5" doesn't make you like excessively short. And
Mhm.
I feel like people that look down on people because they're shorter, like those people, that's their problem. That's absolutely not your
Yeah.
problem. Like if someone looks down on you because you're 5'5", you're 5'4", you're 5'6", that's clearly their problem.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. And that's yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have to
Yeah,
say.
man, that was so. I love that advice that you said, and I think I want to really drive that point home and say that getting cosmetic stature lengthening should only be for the people where it's only when it's on the back of their mind all the time, where it's gnawing at them and they just can't get rid of it, and it's an everyday thing for months on end, years on end. But if it's like it just pops up on a video on YouTube and somebody says, "Hey, look, it'd be cool to be taller," 3 inches taller and you're, let's say 6'4", you want to say, I want to be 6'7" to be able to dunk easier. This surgery wasn't created for that. So let's see here. I think we lost Matthew for a second, but oh, he's still
No,
there.
I'm
You're still
still
there.
here. I'm just going somewhere real quick, but I'm still in the
Absolutely.
chat. No,
No, you're good. You're good. Do what you got to do. Next question here from Parth. Man, you're so full of positivity and wisdom beyond your age. At 16, I was stuffing my face and, and playing video games. I love that. Oh, you know what, Matthew? I got to plug in my computer. I didn't realize that I didn't plug it in. So, 1 second. I'm going to put up Parth's next question here. Parth is asking, how were your first few hours and days post-op? I'm going to plug in my computer.
all right. So yeah, on post op, yeah, they were definitely they weren't easy. Like so, after I had the surgery, the first few hours I was kind of like just because I was on a lot of drugs for pain and stuff. I wasn't in the right frame of mind, so I was kind of like just confused. I was in pain. I still knew what was going on, but I was still in pain and a little confused at the same time. So I definitely didn't feel good, and that was just the first few hours. But then as time went on, like especially the next day, and then the day after I was discharged, that was the worst pain I've ever experienced pretty much in my life.
Yeah.
So yes,
Do you know
yeah,
if they
that's
used, like, do they use a nerve block or do they do epidural? Like, what kind of anesthesia did you get?
so I'm not actually sure, which I really should have been more attentive about.
Yeah.
All I know is I had anesthesia, and it definitely did help.
Okay.
But as the anesthesia faded away, the pain increased and
Yeah.
increased.
Yeah.
And like I said, Friday, it was the most pain I've ever had in my life, hands
Yeah.
down.
Sounds like just like I remember the same thing. It's like right after surgery, you're okay because you're still coming out. But then as time, that stuff fades away, it feels like an inferno in your legs. So,
Yeah.
oh man. Here's the next question for Parth. How did you manage being away from school while having this procedure? That's right, because it was kind of in the middle of the school year, right?
Yeah. So fun fact, I'm actually homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
So I don't, yeah, so I have that significant advantage right there,
Yeah.
where I don't have to like make like where class attendance for for a school isn't even a thing for me. But I still, yeah. So of course, even if you're in a public school, you definitely will have a couple days off. You'll have to. There's no way you can go to school. I would say for the first 2 or 3 days after the surgery,
Yeah, I
if
would
you're
even
around
say
mine. There's no way. There's no way. I would say even a week or two if we're being very brutal honest,
yeah.
I would say like two weeks
Yeah,
to be
two,
very
3 weeks
safe.
for
Two
sure.
weeks.
Yeah, to be safe, and it's like with the discrepancy, you can use crutches, so it's like it's a lot safer to get around, but you still should be careful. So Matthew had that advantage, like he said, he was homeschooled, but man, to be homeschooled and be this so smart, you're just like you're on top of it, man. Incredible, I love it. Do you know if insurance covered your surgery?
Yeah, everything, thank God, because this is a
Nice.
very expensive surgery, so it was all covered by insurance. So I
Okay.
didn't have to worry about, the costs. So thank God.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, do you still? Let's say, I think she's asking, do you still go to physical therapy? Because we know you went to physical therapy, right?
Yeah, I still go there twice a week, Monday
Okay.
and Thursday. I was just there earlier today.
Where you?
It's a
Yeah.
lot of yeah. So I go twice a week. I know you said sometimes it's even more. If I could squeeze a couple extra days throughout the week, maybe 3 or 4, that'd be awesome. But two seems to work perfect, and the surgeon said that's perfect. As long as you're going and having a routine basis where you're constantly seeing, professionals that
Mhm.
will help you stretch and help you get physically rehabilitated, and they'll teach you about the weight bearing and stuff. And
Mm.
yeah, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
As long as you're going on a consistent basis,
Right.
it's you're
And
gonna.
I think that when I say, how many days, it really it varies. And people with like bilateral 8 centimeter femur lengthening, they're going to need to go more than somebody with our, discrepancy. Plus, you're a lot more dedicated to the process. So you know that when you get home, you're going to do your own stretching. Where a patient who hasn't done any working out before, they're going to need a little bit more discipline to get into the routine that you're talking about. So I think that they would need a lot more professional physical therapy where you can kind of dial it back and kind of mix it with your own.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to like out of because I know a lot of people here out when I was talking about the stretching. So to make it easy, this is the tip. And I remember where you went over like your daily routine
Yeah.
about the lengthening that you had on what you did, and yours is very similar to mine.
Yeah.
Brought the distraction. It was lengthen, stretch. Maybe take a nap, lengthen, stretch. That was my entire day. So I would say because I break my stretching into 3 different lengthening sessions. So
Hmm.
that would be like one in the morning or right around noon, another one in the afternoon, and then one like soon before you go to bed.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, so think about it. If I say do 2 hours of stretching a day, it's like, what the heck? Absolutely not. But if I say 3 times 40 minutes,
Yeah.
okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
And if you do, and I do like I had 3 stretching. So the 3 stretching, well, actually, the 4 stretches I do are the towel stretch, where you pull, try to extend the knee as much as you can, but really focus on, pulling the towel, not excessively, but just getting a good stretch.
Hmm.
Doing that, and then doing like a sort of a calf stretch. If you have a calf slant board, that's going to help you a lot. But what I did was I put a dumbbell on the ground. I stepped on the dumbbell with straight legs, and I just leaned forward against the wall, and I grabbed onto something to make it like so I had balance and support.
Okay.
And when you can start to weight there, you can do it off the stairs. Where some people do calf raises off the stairs. Just do your one leg. Just do the one leg.
Hmm.
This is for the tibia lengtheners, by the
Right.
way.
Yeah.
You have just your left or right leg, whichever leg you're having done. Just have it hang for like a minute. Take a 15-second break.
Hmm.
Keep doing that. And if it's like if it becomes too painful, you can always like ease up a bit. But try to keep it on a pain scale from like 0 to 10. I'd say keep it in like don't go above. I would say 8, but don't go below 5. So keep it
Okay.
in that 5 to 8 range where you're like mildly discomfort, mild to moderately discomfortable.
Man, this guy, who are you? I feel like he's like a surgeon, a physical therapist, a patient mixed all in one. This guy is the
Yeah,
complete
but
package. Dude, you are awesome, Matthew. Seriously, man.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and yeah, and then on top of that, like I said, the soleus doesn't really get tight, but try to find a stretch for the soleus. I know Cyborg, you had a video where you were going over this one soleus stretch with the dumbbell, and
Mhm.
that's perfect. You can do that too. That I actually do that, and it works great. And then I did this one exercise. It's kind of interesting. So I sit on a chair that's on a chair, and then I'll take another chair and I'll put my leg there. But then around my knee, I'll take like a shopping bag. I'll put a 5 pound dumbbell and I'll hold it there for 10 minutes and do
Yeah.
that 3 times a day. And that's going to help with the knee extension and everything. And it's going to be it's going to be a little, it'll feel easy in the beginning, but it'll slowly get harder. So don't think you have to throw in a 10 or 15 pound dumbbell because I guarantee you won't make the 10 minutes. So start with 5. Actually, I go as far as to say is start with no weight, see how it feels. Then throw in maybe a 2.5. And then if that feels okay, throw in a 5. And that's what I did. I started off with a 5 and it was perfect. And I do that 3 times a day and it's doable. And if you like listening to music, that's what I always did while I was stretching. Throw
Mhm.
some tunes and have fun. Don't make it like where you're just looking at at the wall for 40 minutes. Like do something, like find ways to distract yourself. Because
Yeah.
actually there are studies where music can actually raise your pain tolerance. So if you're listening to music, right, think about it. A 6 on the pain scale might only feel like a 4. But if you don't have music in, a 6 will feel like a 6. And you might want to just giving you like little things that like really help. Because this, like I said, this is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, and the more
I think it's chopping up a little bit, Matthew, but man, you are your tips, your advice, your regimen is like golden. Seriously, I would do that. Like that's kind of like what I did. I mean, low load, prolonged stretching. That's what we call it, LLPS. You shouldn't even know this. Like, it's what? Where did you get all this knowledge? It's like I didn't even put that on all the videos. Oh, let me try this. Who
yeah,
are you, man? This is
I
incredible.
all I did was just research because I was so hungry. I'll tell you what. The
Yeah.
reason why I took the physical therapy so seriously is because I wanted to be on my feet by summer.
Yes.
Now, I had two options, very simple. I could have either tried to like not really put as much effort into the stretching and the physical
Mhm.
therapy, and I would have not been walking in months more.
Right.
But now that I'm stretching more and now I'm seeing results and it's constantly, I'll say the results will keep you motivated. Because
Yes.
after you start seeing that, oh my gosh, I wasn't able to do this, or it's not as loose, it's not as tight, or I can actually almost extend my knee now when I'm doing this stretch. Those little things will affirm, like they will really help your mind, and
Right.
it's gonna be like, I want to keep doing this. Let's go. And it goes from like a thing that you hate to a thing that you love, and it's almost
Absolutely.
like I'm down this stretch right now. It's like
Love
so
it.
all these things that I learned through having the surgery done, I'm just trying to like give you to you guys, and you can take it or you don't have to take it. But that's just
Oh, they
my
They
that's just
need
my
they need to take it, Matthew, because
input.
like that is you're pretty much echoing what I say, but like on steroids. Like it's coming because it's coming from somebody else, and it's like they've heard me say it 1,000 times. But it's incredible. It really is incredible, and you guys really do need to listen to him. Oh, you can think, oh, he's a discrepancy patient. It matters more because he's a discrepancy patient, and he's telling you this. So this goes for all you stature patients, all you discrepancy patients, all you deformity patients out there. Physical therapy, how important it is, and why he's hungry to get back to his normal activity by summer. By July 4th, Matthew, we're going to have you like around that time. I plan to have you back on. Seriously, man. Like, I want to see your
Yeah,
progress in the next.
I'm gonna walk on July 4th. I'm gonna position my camera where I
Yeah.
could walk a distance, or actually I'll send a video to you
Okay.
like around that time of me
Now post it.
walking as clean and perfect as I can, and you can post and you can say this is a week that's a month and a half after the
Distraction.
distraction period.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm gonna do. I can't wait.
yeah,
I
that's
cannot wait.
perfect. Yeah, but we'll get to that later. Then we'll get
We
into
will.
that
We
later.
will. I can't wait for that time, seriously, because I have a section where I post patient videos and stuff like that. That's incredible. Question for you. Oh yeah, it's here on the screen from Parth. He's asking, did you ever consider the HSS and Dr. Rosbrook for the surgery, or Dr. Taylor Reef? He's up there as well. Wondering how you decided on your hospital and your surgeon. That's a good question.
Great question. So I'll be honest, I don't know HSS and Dr. Rosberg. Is that how you pronounce it?
Rosbrook. Yeah, you're not
Yeah,
familiar with him.
yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know who they are. I'm sure they're great surgeons.
Yeah.
And so thank God, I already had a surgeon for this because I had scoliosis,
Hmm.
and I visited them every 6 months so they could track the curvature of my spine to see to make sure it wasn't getting horrific,
Yeah.
where they would have to, because it can get bad very quickly for some people. So I
Absolutely.
constantly visit the doctor.
Hmm.
And I had that same surgeon actually corrects leg length discrepancies. So
Wow.
I hit the jackpot. I didn't have to search for people.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have never even thought about this if I didn't have that surgeon. So I'm
Wow.
very blessed to have, and he's a skilled guy. He's not
Yeah.
like new. He's got the tens of thousands of hours that you want in a surgeon to back
Absolutely.
up his reputation and everything.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that what people are forgetting is that a lot of the surgeons that we don't know about that I haven't mentioned, it's because they don't necessarily do stature lengthening, cosmetic stature lengthening. But these guys are doing limb length discrepancy, deformity corrections. There are a lot of advanced orthopedic surgeons out there doing what your favorite surgeons are doing. It's just they don't do cosmetic stature lengthening. So yeah, that hospital that he mentioned, actually, there's another patient who got it done, I think, there, and is doing very well. So yeah, there's a lot of good surgeons out there, and I plan to hopefully cover them one day. So incredible.
Perfect.
I think that we got all the questions here. Wow. So yeah, man. I know you said your outro before. Is there anything else you would like to say before you go? I mean, like, I've enjoyed this hour and 12 minutes so much. I didn't even realize it's been that long. It's incredible. Like, you are so I say I can't. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. But if there's anything you want to say to your fans, because I know you're gonna have a lot of leg length discrepancy fans, is there any contacts that you want to like kind of drop? I can put below the video if like people want to reach out to you, anything like that.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, Victor, you could drop that email down where to contact me.
Okay.
And but yeah, like just to finish everything off, I would say the key thing is to just have, like I said this a billion times in this interview, just try to really, really be the best you can be. Really,
Mhm.
the best you can be. If there are areas in your life that you know you would need fixing for this surgery, whatever it is, physically, mentally, emotionally, try your best to have this done, because this is like the biggest challenge I've had in my life. And I know for some people this might sound like nothing crazy, and you're more interested in the technical things, and I understand because I am just as much as you guys, if not more. But I will say with absolute confidence that the thing that pulled me through this all was my attitude and just the way I looked at it. Because if I didn't have the attitude and just the mental fortitude to go through this, I would have fell flat on my face, and this would have been an absolute disaster. So I'm very proud of really, I'm just so happy for myself, and you guys will be so happy for yourself if you decide to, to just push through and to just do this and try to, because this is gonna, I think if you really think about it and if you really put your mind to this, you're gonna get a lot out of this surgery, and not just the physical benefits, but the mental benefits and the
100%.
way, and even in your life, like you're gonna learn some things that you never knew about yourself,
Mhm.
because that's really what hard times show. If you have a sunshine, rainbows, candy, lollipops all the time, like that's not gonna get you anywhere. But if you have some times where you don't get what you want and the unexpected turns to be the reality, you're gonna it all comes down to how you view it. So, and it all comes down to the way you cope with it. And if you can get that down, this surgery will be absolutely doable, and it will be the most enjoyable thing you've probably ever experienced in your life.
Matthew, I don't know how to add to that. Like, I can't even outro because I can't top that at all. I think you're gonna be a motivational speaker. Seriously, like you've motivated me. You know, like I can't believe this. This guy was
We
incredible.
all need it.
Everybody,
We all need it, man.
give it up for Matthew. Like seriously, man, that was incredible. Holy crap! Seriously, man, I am so impressed with you. Oh man, but anyway, yeah. So we're gonna have you back on the channel for more roundtables to add your value. Like this is literally one of the best interviews that I've ever done. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm saying that publicly on the air right now. Like you are so bright, so wise, so well spoken. It's just like incredible. All the advice that you just given to all limb lengthening patients everywhere, stature, cosmetic.
Thank you so much.
Incredible.
Thank you so much, Victor. Really,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. And if you ever need any help with bodybuilding, I got you. Just hit me up. I'll give you any workout,
Yeah,
anything you need.
yeah, man. You've got the years under your belt, and I've seen your physique. It's something that most people would call not natty.
Yeah, believe me, I've gotten that. I've gotten a lot of that.
Oh, of course you have. I could tell. If I didn't know as much as I know now, I would have called you a fake, like a fake natural or whatever. But I know you're not. I really know you're not.
No, I don't even have the energy to do that stuff. It's like it takes a lot on you. But anyway, Matthew, that was incredible. We're gonna have you back on the channel. I wish you the best on in the next couple of weeks as you start to walk. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in to episode 38 of Lengthening Live. And until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life and Matthew the Wise signing out. See you guys next time.
Thank you. Peace.